Welcome back, everybody. This is Rodrigo Fondor with another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. Today is episode 3 of season 2. So once again, today is episode number 3 of season 2, and we're going to be talking about a controversial topic today. We are talking about Zillow's Zestimates. Can you trust them? How accurate are they? What do they stand for, etc.? And so I made a couple of notes, kind of did some research, dug into this a little bit. I found some interesting tidbits of information that I'm going to share with you, but here's a little teaser, and we'll get into this in a second. Did you know that Zillow rates all of their cities or counties that they have Zestimates on a scale of 1 to 5 to tell you how accurate the Zestimates are? And I bet you won't guess what Buncombe County and Henderson County are rated for. So we'll find out a little bit what the actual Zestimate, how accurate Zillow actually thinks their Zestimates are for here in Asheville, Hendersonville area. So let's get into how they're calculated. And this is all stuff that I've pulled directly from Zillow. So the source of this information is Zillow.com. You can check this out yourself if you want to do some reading and whatnot. But if you want to save yourself the reading, here's the information. So how do they come up with a Zestimate? They use 3 things. The tax assessment, the mortgage records, and then they use user-submitted data. So of these 3 things, there are one thing to note is the last one, user-submitted data. That's something that's going to be highly subjective, right? Different people are going to view the same property in a different light. So that's something to keep in mind, that one piece of the information that Zillow uses to calculate the Zestimate is somebody's personal opinion. So as far as how cool their house is or what their square footage is, etc. You know, square footage is something that's a fact, like you can measure it, but there's difference of opinion sometimes about what parts of a house are considered a part of the square footage or not. Like for instance, is an unfinished basement part of the square footage of a house or not? You know, that can be subjective. So that's why Zestimates sometimes vary. The other 2 pieces are the tax records or tax assessments, and then mortgage records. What did the house sell for, etc. So these 2 things, what they say is all public data. And then this is user submitted. So again, 2/3 of it is public data, stuff that you're going to find on county websites, you know, register of deeds, etc. And then the 3rd piece of the information is going to be user submitted data. So what type of things are in the user submitted data? Let's get into that. It's going to be accurate bed bath counts. So how many bedrooms or how many bathrooms? We're going to talk about, you know, the square foot of the house, talk about certain things, like sometimes if you make an addition on your house or you add a really cool porch or a swimming pool or whatever that could be. So we're going to talk about additions. These additions aren't always reflected right away on tax websites. They can sometimes take a while. So that's just an example of things. You know, Zillow points out that anything that's a unique home or like a luxury home or not, you know, your standard cookie cutter, sometimes can create a little bit more variables or difficulty for them to give an accurate Zestimate. So something to keep in mind. But here's the cool thing. Zillow does have a very clear definition of what the value of a house is. All right, so what is Zillow's definition of what the value of a house is? Let's get into that. And for what it's worth, I agree 100% with Zillow's definition. So what they say is, all right, read it with me, everybody. Value is what someone is willing to pay. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your Zestimate is, the value of your house is what somebody's willing to pay. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think Zillow did a good job of pointing that out. Obviously they have a really cool algorithm and just computer models and formulas, etc., that spit out the Zestimates, and Zestimates are fun to talk about. They're fun to look at because it gives you a starting point for everything. And once again, let's remember that Zestimate, or the Zillow value for something, is just a starting point for a conversation. Nothing more and nothing less. So we're talking about the algorithm. I'm gonna just erase this here. Well, we'll leave it up there because that's a good thing to just keep in mind. All right, so Zillow has a different algorithm that they use. They've done 3 revisions of it. Right now, Zillow is working on, or the algorithm it's using is from 2011. That was the last time they overhauled their algorithm. Like any software program, they of course are continuously updating, tweaking it, etc. But the model's been the same since 2011. I found that personally really interesting, just to know how far back, was the last major update that they went through. And all right, so here's the moment of truth. Zillow acknowledges that they aren't always able to provide the most accurate data, and so they rank all their counties, and in some cases the cities, on a scale of 1 to 5 to show how accurate their data is. Any guess as to what Buncombe and Henderson County are, love to hear your thoughts. Obviously I'm kind of going to give it away, but here's the thing. Both Buncombe and Henderson County are rated by Zillow 2 out of 5. So Zillow is saying, they self-acknowledge that Buncombe and Henderson County only have a 2 out of 5 rating when it comes to accuracy on their Zestimates. So when you're thinking about selling a house, when you're thinking about buying a house, keep in mind that the Zestimate is only 2/5 as its best availability when it comes to accuracy, according to Zillow. So I found that stat really interesting. Also, I think it's a good credit to Zillow for them to, publish this and acknowledge that what they're doing is a generalization. They're trying to get something out there to have a conversation get started. But remember, 2 out of 5 for Buncombe and Henderson County. Again, all of this information in regards to Zillow's estimates is on Zillow's website. You guys can find it there. Dig into the data yourself if that's of interest to you. In the meantime, if you have any questions and you think we might be able to answer them, let us know. Just drop us a comment. If you found this video interesting, it would really mean a lot to us if if you're willing to share it. So once again, season 2, episode 3, Whiteboard Wednesday. My name is Rodrigo Fonador. I'm with the Asheville Cash Buyers.
We'll be right back.